Hey everybody, welcome to Grilling at the Green. I'm JT. Thank you for allowing us to take up some of your very precious time this week. As you know, this is a show where we talk a lot about golf and a lot of the fun people involved in the world of golf. This week, I'm very privileged to have Dr. Kanwar. If you don't know her, she's on Instagram. I think she's on X. She's on Facebook. She's lots of places. But let me give you a little bit of her background. Besides being an amateur champion in India, she also has a PhD. I want to say this right now in kinesiology and biometrics. She sits as the program chair at Stanton University in LA in their golf program and their coach. She's also an LPGA Master Instructor. She's got a lot of other titles, but I thought I would cut it down to just a couple of ones that I could actually manage. Dr. Kanwar, how are you?
Hi, JT. Thanks for having me.
You've got a very interesting story, and we'll kind of cover a lot of that in this first segment. But you were a champion amateur golfer in India when you were younger. Was that was there a lot of golf going on in India when you were growing up?
There was and there is. It's still very, even though it's the 21st century, it's still mostly private club golf, with
Uh-huh.
some public facilities have opened up as golf becomes more known. You have to battle your way through cricket to get recognized. So, golf, because we've had players that have done well on the national and international level, golf is getting more recognized. And with that comes government interest and promotion. And there are now some public facilities as well.
Yeah, well, we've got some tour players out there that are of Indian descent and stuff, but it's just not. And by the way, you're going to have to, when the show's over, you're going to have to explain cricket to me because I've watched a couple matches and I still don't understand it. Will you do that for me? It's all good. Was it tough being a girl growing up playing golf, or was it all things equal?
I didn't feel it or notice it because we had a women's circuit. We never ever thought of obviously competing against the men. It's one area where you have to admit physical limitations in comparison. So we
Yeah.
had a very active women's circuit, local golf events. So it was never a thing that you felt
Well, that's
excluded or
good.
anything like that.
That's good. And did your whole family come over to the States, or did you just strike out on your own?
No, my husband and son and I came out some 20 odd years ago. And until then, we'd been in India all this time. And let me tell you a little bit about talking of going back for a moment, if I may.
Sure.
Talking of women in India and in golf, uh, we have a Calcutta Ladies Golf Club, which was the first golf club, I think, in the world where women established this club, and they till today run it and do the everything budgeting, everything by themselves, deal with municipal permissions, etc., all by themselves. So there is a lot of opportunity for women in India. We are not like suppressed or repressed or feeling
Yeah,
it in any
good.
way. That is
Good.
good.
I'm sorry, I just don't know that much about golf in India, so forgive me for
Right.
that. Where
The-
and you grew up in the Calcutta area?
In Mumbai, the
Mumbai. Okay.
financial capital of India.
There you go. Was there a lot of courses? I mean, you said they're private, but was there a lot of them?
No, there were only three, and there still are three. And I once came to Chicago and proudly told them, we have three golf courses in this urban area. And they laughed and whispered, in the Chicagoland area, which is a 1 hour diameter, driving diameter, we have 250. So I kind of felt a little silly
Uh,
proudly talking about my three golf courses.
did you come here to get your education and then branch out from there, or when you were in India, how far in through university and stuff did you go?
So I had a bachelor's in physics and math decades before, and I was so envious of my son having the opportunity to be going to school in the US. It was always like a dream that could never happen. I said, let me try and do a GRE. I did the GRE, had a decent grade, and I said, let me just apply. We were in St. Louis, Missouri. Let me apply to some colleges. I actually got admission, and now we were in a quandary. Why are we going to spend on a older female's education as a family? You know, so, but I just took the leap and I did it. I got a wonderful master's from a chiropractic university. And then I said, oh, I still haven't learned enough about some subjects. So I did a PhD from a university that does more golf research than any other, Texas
Hmm.
Women's University. And so here I am.
Well, it's great. And those are great aspirations to for anybody listening, but especially young women. There's a lot of things other than just trying to be a tour pro, like that. Did you ever think about playing at the tour level when you were coming through the ranks and putting cricket aside?
No, never, because when I was growing up, when I played my competitive golf, there was no women's tour in India. Once I came here, I played in some LPGA Pro, event for the teachers. And
Uh-huh.
I said, hey, there's a forced carry of 150 yards. And I, being a vegetarian from generations without the fast twitch muscle that is typically ascribed to black and white populations, I mean, it never even struck me for a moment to consider competing.
I do have to tell you something in all candor. In my other work, I'm known as the cowboy cook. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay.
Right.
So a lot of meat goes through here. Was it a big eye opener when you came to this country? Not only, like you said, in the Chicago area, in the metro, there's 200 plus golf courses. I don't know how many we have right now. I haven't kept up on it, but 20,000 plus golf courses in the country. Was that kind of you went, wow?
Not really, because I'm very familiar with the USA. Even before moved here, I've been visiting quite frequently. So it was not like something very different that I'd never seen before.
Okay, good. I just want to get all this stuff out of the way. How do you think we're going to get more into the kinesiology and the other stuff in the following segments, but how do you think our university systems now, and you're part of one there, are doing to help not just churn out really top level golfers, but again, the physical aspects of it and the mental aspects of your game. Some of these kids coming out of there can, they can smack at 380 yards without much of a eye blink, but to build up to be able to do that and then to sustain to continue to do that, that's a different part of the training and education.
100%. I believe that there's no education like an American university, first of all, anywhere on this planet. It's the best education money can buy. But if you're a student athlete, then you're subject to the whims and fancies of your coach, who really doesn't know. He or she is more of a time management person, right? Get you to the
Hmm.
event on time, make sure you understand a little bit about chipping and putting on different grasses. But they don't have the depth of knowledge that you should have in order to take that very promising golfer to the next level, which would be the LPGA or the PGA Tour. There have been success stories, but considering the number of people being churned out by universities at Division 1, 2, and 3 levels, there could be many more professionals. But of course, it's a big leap from just being a college athlete to aspiring even to a tour level. And it's getting increasingly like more close knit. It's tough to break in for a lot of newbies coming in. And there
It's
are not
kind
that many tours for people to play in.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's in our country here, you've got what the Epson and the LPGA, and then you've got the Corn Ferry and the PGA Tour. Those are really the four that you can work with. And there's mini tours and stuff, but like you said, it's getting harder and harder to go from that mini tour into the development tour onto the big tour. There's, they're closing ranks.
I guess in a way they have to, as golf has to share its popularity with other sports. And as audiences shrink, they have to do something to attract and keep the audiences attracted. So you cannot really blame them. And you do see some success stories of young kids coming on to the PGA Tour just because they got a sponsor's exemption and then they played really well and they got invited for something else and they made it, they got a card. So those things happen, but it's pretty rare. So
Pretty
I
rare.
guess students give up pretty easily. I don't know if the modern student post COVID even has the dedication and hard work to want to aspire to literally practically killing yourself to be on a tour.
That's that's true. We're going to take a break. Dr. Kanwar and I are going to be back in just a couple minutes, and we promise not to kill you, the listener. Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. Hey, we want to thank folks over in Colorado, Birdie Ball, for supporting that last segment. If you don't have room in your house, which I was told we don't, to put a putting green in the living room, you might want to check out birdieball.com. They've got some of the best putting greens that you can actually pick up and take with you at times. Or I'm talking with Dr. Kiran Kanwar today. She's the golf chair at Stanton University down in LA, not too far from where I went to school down there for a while. So people's bodies are different. I mean, I'm older. I have to fess up to that now. I am older. I'm over 12. And your body changes as time goes on. You lose muscle mass, you gain other types of mass. But the elasticity of your muscles, and then as time goes on, maybe you've had some injuries, maybe you've been in the body shop a couple times like I have to get things patched up, and your brain still thinks you can do it, but your body goes, not quite there, sport. So kind of walk us through, if you will, Dr. Canwar, how people can adjust going forward as time, takes away some of your agility and your elasticity.
So, Jeff or JT, if you look on YouTube, you'll see tons of videos of exercises for older people, right? But if you're someone like me who really cannot be, who hates to exercise, having done enough of it when I was competing, and it's just the same old thing all the time, repeat, repeat, weights and cardio and this and that, then what are your options? If you will exercise, you must, because the body and the brain are amazingly plastic and they can make you younger just through all these different types of exercise. And
Hmm.
for your balance, for your stability, it's very important for that. But if you don't want to do that, you need to have a golf swing where you do not make the movements that science can easily show you, if you look at the science, are not suitable for the human body. And whether you're male, female, old, young, tall, short, whatever you are, we still all have the same human body's design and the same joint capabilities. So if you stay within what your joints are designed to do, you have a much better chance of success. You don't move as much, you only make the minimal moves that you need, and you don't move a joint way out of its range of motion capabilities. That's in essence what I've been researching for the past 34 years.
Well, I can tell you that I grew up on a ranch, spent a lot of time with horses over the years. One of the two biggest issues with horse people is their knees and their lower back, or that's two out of two. Same with golfers. With
Yes,
horses, your knees are designed to go forward and backwards, but we make them work laterally when you're
yes,
riding.
yes,
And the compression, constant compression on your lower spine is not good. Okay. And I see that with golfers with the really almost violent twisting motion. I use Tiger as an example because he did have a violent swing at times, controlled violence, if you will, but he did that. And the few times I have known people to try to emulate that swing, didn't work out very good. Their body just one couldn't do it, and then by the end of the round, they were like, "Oh, my back." So
yes,
how
100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you say, we are limited, there are things to swing for and not do in your swing. Give us some examples of that.
All right. So, what I've realized after decades of research, the main number one magic move that I teach is that, or I ask the question at address, if you're right handed golfer, which shoulder will be lower?
For You're asking me that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Right hand. I would probably dump my right shoulder lower.
Yes, because your right hand is lower.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens at impact. In fact, your right side is lower still at impact. That's just how impact happens. So, why then do we in the backswing, just lift up the trail side and lower the lead side? Now the brain has to undo all that motion. It's two different things, dropping one side and lifting the other. And it also has to move all the other body parts to match that. You have so many movements to undo, and your downswing lasts a mere one third second. How is the brain going to send message through the nerves to the different muscles to contract? The muscles take a fraction of a second to actually physically contract after the message arrives. And all that has to happen in one third second that the downswing lasts. So what should you do? You keep your shoulders at the top of your backswing level. You don't let one side rise and one side lower. All right. And the other thing is you absolutely do not rely on pelvic rotation in your downswing because that is a guarantee for low back pain. Your lumbar spine, which would be from the base of your ribs to the top of your pelvis, is not designed for rotation. It's designed mostly, it's absolutely not designed for rotation. And once you try to rotate your lumbar spine, you're asking for trouble. In combination with side bend and rotation, that's a formula for disaster. Moreover, if you do this simple test that everybody in golf is having, you cross your hands across your arms, bend forward in a golf posture, and keeping your shoulders completely still, try to just rotate your pelvis. And most people cannot do that in a standing upright or golf posture. There is very limited rotation in your pelvis because it's a huge, big body part. The nerve conduction to that pelvis is very slow and very limited. It's not possible to do it quickly. The pros do it at a big cost to themselves and because they've started young. When you're younger, I mean, I'm sure you and I are not going to be doing any Olympic gymnastics, are we? Because
No,
unless you've started it young, it's not safe and it's not sensible to do such things.
right, right. I'm the proud owner of two titanium rods in my
Wow.
back.
Wow.
I mean, I was miserable before I had the surgery done. I mean, I would just, it didn't work. And I'm not just talking about golf. I'm just talking in everyday life. Okay.
Life.
But I played golf with a friend of mine. I got to make this quick because we got to go to break and we'll pick it up on the other side. But he was playing in one of the tournaments we play in last year and halfway, and he's a teaching pro. And he said, you're not rotating like that. And I said, well, I've got these rods and it's kind of tough. He goes, I can make you do that. And I said, no, you can't. Trust me.
Absolutely not. Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that. Dr. Canwar and I will be back on Grilling at the Green in just a moment. Please stay with us. You're learning a lot today, and so am I. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. Very proud to have Dr. Kiran Kanwar with us from Stanton University in LA, but her credentials are a mile long, and you can find her at the Golf Guru online. She's got a lot of videos. I follow her on LinkedIn. She's always got some great information and tips there, and she breaks it down well. We were talking just before we went to break, if you just joined us, that lower back and stuff, which is the number one danger zone for golfers, really, to me. And like I said, I have the rods in my back, and yeah, 30 years ago I could rotate and try to do the grip it and rip it like John Daly and all that stuff. Not no more. It doesn't work that way for me anymore. But I can still hit the ball well. I can still get it out there. I just don't need this, huge try to emulate a tour pro swing.
Yes, 100%. And the reason is this, Jeff, which is little understood in golf, unfortunately. You do not need to rotate the pelvis. All you do is stretch the muscles like an elastic band that you plan to contract in the downswing for your force and speed production. Which are those muscles? Your obliques across the front of your chest on the trail side, and your lats and your pecs, your serratus anterior that will bring your shoulder forward.
Hmm.
These are the main muscles. Your pelvis is a doubtful muscle to rotate because it's very difficult to rotate the pelvis. And because of the position that a typical golf swing gets you in at the top, it makes it even more difficult for the pelvis to rotate easily. So, first of all, it's difficult and it's not necessary. All you need to do is stretch those muscles and contract them, let them contract because they have recoil in them. All right. So you don't need, so what you were achieving in all those muscles are just chest and torso. So you're still getting most of your strength because you have all those muscles in your chest and torso that haven't gone anywhere. So
Yeah.
that's the reason you succeed.
They're a little more insulated than they used to be, I will say. They've
Yeah.
got a little more weather resistance covering them. But yeah, I've still got all those muscles, but
Yes.
it's I've watched films of me hitting the golf ball, and I've watched my friends that I play with. I watch films of them. And I'm thinking my swing isn't, as far as the rotation and stuff, that different than theirs.
Right.
But I have people telling me I should, like I said earlier, they mean well, but you need to move that hip and push it through and all that. And it's like my body just doesn't bend like that anymore.
So, Jeff, this is all golf fashion, as I call it. Things come into fashion and go out of fashion. One of the current fashions is matchups. So, you can literally do anything in your backswing and then compensate for it in your downswing. Like you can sin in life and then say, Father, forgive me for I have
Yeah.
sinned. But why did you sin in the first place, right?
Right, right, right.
So there's no forgiveness with the body. You do it and you pay the price sooner or later. So the point is that you cannot just position your body wherever you feel like. You've got to get into the top of backswing position from which you can make a thought-free downswing, because in 1/3 second or less, there's no time to think and pass on that message to the muscles to do it efficiently every time. Even the pros under pressure, you see when the muscles tend to contract faster and more forcefully, they're also going a little left, little right, and plus getting injured. They too have their problems, but under pressure because they've grooved in the movement, so they are more able to do it.
I know that I can tell you this, Dr. Kanwar, that when I just walk up to the ball, kind of look where I'm going with it, and just stand up and address it and hit it and don't think about it, I do much, much better than trying to like groove a swing or, shape the ball and do all that stuff. It's just I don't know. And I've always been a field player, if you will. I was never one of these course dissecting guys, but I've always been a field player like that. But I just do better because I walked up there. I walk up there, not past tense, and I'm relaxed, and I just focus on hitting the ball and hit the ball and on to the next shot. It works much better for me that way.
Yeah, absolutely, because you have played a lot of golf, and so some of your movements are grooved in. Those will return without when you do it without thought. And obviously, you had a decent enough movement grooved in when you practiced more.
Yeah,
That stays with you. Now, when you interfere with it, uh, the movements that you're trying to control will stay control. Like you want your elbow to do something, that will do well, but the other joints will get what we call more released and more variable in their movement. So the total result, you don't know what will happen. And when you have to think too much, you get stressed. It's like if I just try to pretend I'm playing a piano like this, it's my fingers move easily. But as soon as I'm tight and rigid, then my fingers cannot even move efficiently because the tension will prevent muscles from relaxing and flowing.
so if you say, I'll be very kind here, somebody over the age of 55, like I am, I'm parsing numbers, just some easy stretches to go before you play. I get on I have a recumbent bike in the back office of our house here, and I go in and I've increased the times now because it's just better for, me. But just to get on that a little bit, kind of do some leg raises and an easy kind of rotations, not drastic, just a little bit to get a few back stretches. And that works for me just as good as a 25-minute workout.
I think, yes. I was a part of a research study called Golf for Healthy Aging with the University of Southern California. And
Hmm.
we started them off with warm up and exercising to make sure you're not going to hurt anything because they were all non golfers. So we made sure that we move every joint from your neck to your ankles. Just do a bit of neck, you do a bit of shoulder, you do a little bit of your waist in all directions, you do your hip joint forward, backward, side to side rotation,
Yeah,
and then some calf raises. And before you start all that, you do a little warm up like jogging in place or something to just get the circulation going. And that's pretty much it. You should really warm up a little bit before you tee off on the first hole. Otherwise,
sure.
especially if you haven't played in a long while, you're asking for trouble.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I just try to do that, and a lot of times I'll just if we're using carts, I'll just go back to the where you store the bags in the carts, and there's a couple things you can hang on to, and just kind of do squats, not all the way down and that type of thing, but I just do a few squats like that and a few light rotations, and that seems to work for me. I mean, I'm still a
Absolutely.
terrible player, but I feel good. Yeah.
No, then it's important to somehow justify doing that little exercise. However you do it, you have to make yourself do it just to be safe.
So I guess I really have to ask you, how's your golf game?
I don't really play much now after 50 years of golf. It's like, unless I'm playing with friends, it's who I've known for years, it's a little boring. But I make sure to go to the driving range and I can hit the ball better than I did when I first started golf at age 16. Of course, equipment has improved, but the idea is that the swing has to be efficient without as much movement, without making it complicated. So I just make sure my setup is where I want it, my takeaway is where I want it, and then I just swing. I'm not going to have any backswing or downswing, end of backswing or downswing thoughts.
So I don't want to pick on anybody directly, but you see a lot of these guys that are coaching the top pros. And we've had other systems like stack and tilt and this type of thing come through. And I've tried some of them. Some of them because I was doing the show and some of them just because I was interested. I would submit to you that unless you're from the ages of 16 to maybe 28, a lot of those things aren't going to work out the best in the long run for you. And once you're done playing competitive golf and you're in the world doing other things, but you're still going to be playing golf, I'm assuming, you might get pretty sore, pretty hurt at some point.
Yes, so the problem is in all coaching, in not just golf, in most sports, there's not enough science trickling down to the coaches, right? It's not their job. They have to get the education, and the education comes from whoever is offering it. Mostly it's biomechanics. It's not enough about motor control, how the brain controls movement, and or anatomy, how your joints are designed. For example, in baseball, what they are trying to do to avoid that Tommy John injury of the throwing arm, the inside elbow joint
Yeah.
injury, is they tell you to pitch less, especially for growing kids. And they tell you to have, and they change the style of surgery so you can recover faster. But they are not giving you, they are not even looking for solutions for how you could make a more efficient swing that stretches that ligament less
Yeah.
often and to less of a degree.
That's interesting because back to golf, well, I know some ex-pro baseball players and they're crippled.
Yes.
They're very crippled. And I know some ex-pro tour players and they rarely play anymore because it just hurts too much. Dr. Kanwar and I are going to take another quick break. We're going to be back, wrap up the show. She is sticking around for after hours. I know I subject everybody to that, so she's tough. She can handle it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Grilling at the Green. If I didn't tell you, which I normally do, we are also a proud part of the Golf News Network. This show airs on GNN on Fridays and Sundays. And also, we will be broadcasting live March 6th, 7th, and 8th from the Portland Expo Center from the Portland Golf Show there, put on by Varsity Communications. It's our fifth or sixth year of doing that. So, and they'll be streamed on all our platforms. And we'll have some great guests this year and a lot of fun. So, Portland Golf Show, March 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're talking with Dr. Kiran Kanwar today from Stanton University in LA. I went to Cal Poly over in Pomona for 2 years before I came back and finished up here. So you're in my neighborhood, so to
Yes.
speak, like that. Where do you see golf education as far as the fitness and the biometrics and stuff that you're dedicated to now? How do you see that progressing? And let's just say over the next 10 years for players. Doesn't even have to be tour level, just college level, high school, whatever.
The fitness industry, as much as the golf coaching industry, needs more kinesiology education. And it's my mission in life to give it to them. They really do need to, especially fitness, because and fitness and injury go hand in hand. So do swing and injury. But you really need to know what you're doing with each of the. You can't just have a superficial knowledge of, okay, I'm doing this exercise, so I'm exercising the lats, so I'm doing that exercise. How much range of motion can they tolerate? What is the joint that's affected? How much? So there is not enough education in both the golf coaching and the golf industry with respect to both motor control and anatomy. And the bits of biomechanics that exist are very piecemeal. There's just a little bit about using force plates or a little bit about how the hands move in the golf swing. So there's not a holistic approach, even in the biomechanics, that has been taught more than anything else.
Well, I know it's some of the larger manufacturers have their institutes, if you will, where for golf instruction and fitness, and I think they're good. I think they're well-meaning, but I also am not sure they really dig into like the biomechanics and the other aspects of it, like fitness is food. Well, I'm not very fit comparatively because I do so much with food, and I will freely admit it, and I love food. But if you have aspirations to be a top player, you probably stay away from the maple bars type thing. So how if you're just somebody listening to this show and they want to try to get to be the whole package, maybe not at tour level, but just health wise and biomechanics wise, what's the first steps for them?
Find out what their swing mistakes are from the perspective of performance. Are they
Yes.
lacking distance, which is a big one now? If you don't have the distance, what are you going to do? Right? Are they lacking directional consistency? What are they going to do? And then, do they have any aches and pains? And can somebody assess it for them before they go any further? Right? They need a very strong kinesiological analysis. And then when they exercise, they need like an air traffic controller for their team. If you have a team, literally, if you have a team around you, your swing coach, your physical therapist, your fitness trainer, your nutritionist, they all need an air traffic controller that understands all the subjects and tells each one this is your role within that team. And there are very few people who can literally do that, because it's not right when your mental coach is saying one thing, your chiropractor is saying another, your trainer is saying something else, your nutritionist is doing. It needs to be one packaged whole.
That's tough. That's tough, especially at the upper levels, because there is so much money involved.
That's not tough, Jeff, because there are some people, maybe only a handful on this planet, who really understand all the aspects of kinesiology and have studied all those subjects. Like, for example, myself, I've studied at a chiropractic school, nutrition, fitness. I've done the all the certifications or studied the certification material for
Right.
all the fitness training. So I understand the theory. I'm not about to go and become someone's fitness coach, because I would barely be able to spot you doing 10 pound bicep
Yeah.
curls, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I understand the theory and how it would match with what swing intentions the golfer should have.
Maybe you should be the air traffic controller for the team.
Yes, I would love to do that. I'm waiting for a team to invite me. Maybe to
Well,
your show they come.
maybe they will. Maybe they will. Dr. K, where can people find you? You can any your websites, your social media streams, whatever. Where can people find you?
So my website is www.yourgolfguru.com, and then /contact to shoot me an email, / lessons for a lesson if you want to get more information. And then I'm on every possible social media, from LinkedIn, serious and very stoic, to TikTok, which is like young, and so everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, X, everywhere. So unfortunately, I have been on social media for a while, so my name is different everywhere. It's like Your Golf Guru for X, and it's Kiran Kanwar Golf for Instagram. So I guess you'd have to just do the search and find me.
They'll find you.
Yeah.
They'll find you. Dr. Kiran Kanwar, thank you for being with us today. We'll put when the show comes out, I'll send you the links to the show and all that. And she's going to stick around for after hours. So thank you. That's going to wrap it for Dr. K and I here. But as I always say at the end of every show, go out, have some fun, play some golf, but most of all, be kind. Take care, everybody.